Most animals are born with a body that can protect them. Claws, fur, scales, a shell, something. You're born half finished. Nature gave you a tough front end and then just gave up on the back half, leaving you with a soft, squishy, defenseless rear that anything could bite clean off. So your entire life becomes one desperate, never-ending mission. Find a house to hide your naked butt in before something eats it, and you will absolutely murder a neighbor to get a better one. Welcome to life as a hermit crab. But let's start at the beginning, way out in the open ocean, where your life kicks off as a microscopic speck. You hatch into the sea as a tiny larva, drifting in the current with thousands of siblings. And the ocean does what the ocean always does. It eats most of you. You get gobbled up by fish, swept away, and picked off by the millions before you ever get close to growing up. The odds you make it through this stage are brutal, and most of your family doesn't. So if you survive the open water and finally settle down toward the seafloor as a tiny young crab, congratulations. The real problem of your life is just getting started. To even make it this far, you've had to transform over and over, molting through stage after stage and changing shape as you drift. Every version of you a fresh meal for something bigger. By the time you finally sink down toward the bottom as a proper little crab, most of the brothers and sisters you hatched with are long gone, scattered through the guts of the sea. Because now you find out about the flaw, the big one. Your front half looks like a normal crab. Hard shell, legs, little claws. But your back half, it's soft. It's twisted into a weird spiral curl. Totally unarmored, completely exposed. There's no shell back there. There's nothing. It's a big, juicy, defenseless target. And out here, soft and defenseless means dead. Every predator in the sea would love nothing more than to snap up that squishy little tail of yours. You are essentially a walking snack that hasn't been eaten yet. And here's a funny thing. Despite the name, you're not even a true crab. You're your own strange offshoot, an animal built around the borrowed home lifestyle so completely that your body just stopped bothering to protect itself. Plenty of creatures start soft and toughen up with age. Not you. That back half stays vulnerable for life, and no amount of growing ever fixes it. You will be one bad moment away from losing your tail from the day you're born to the day you die. So you have to fix it yourself. And the only way to do that is to go house hunting. You start crawling the seafloor, looking for an empty shell, usually the leftover home of a dead sea snail. When you find one the right size, you back your soft, curly tail up inside it, tuck yourself in, and just like that, you've got armor. A borrowed home, a secondhand suit of armor, built by an animal that's already dead. That spiral shape of your tail, it's actually evolved to grip the inside of a snail shell perfectly, to lock you in. Your whole body is literally designed around the assumption that you will spend your entire life squatting inside the corpse houses of other creatures. You don't make a home, you scavenge one, forever. And finding that very first shell isn't a sure thing either. If you can't track one down fast enough, that's it. No grace period, no second chances. A naked young hermit crab out in the open is just lunch with extra steps. And here's where it becomes a nightmare that never ends. Because you never stop growing. You keep getting bigger, but your shell doesn't grow with you. So every time you outgrow your current house, you have to find a bigger one and move. Again, and again, and again. Your entire life is a constant, stressful housing search. An endless scramble to upgrade before you get too big and start spilling out of your own armor. There's no settling down. There's no forever home. There's just the next move, and the next, until the day you die. But here's the part that really turns your world into a battlefield. There are never enough shells to go around. Empty shells the right size are rare and precious, and every hermit crab around you needs one just as badly as you do. So you're all locked in a brutal competition for housing, and it gets vicious. When a good shell opens up, you don't politely take turns. You fight. You'll grab another hermit crab, latch on, and physically rip it right out of its shell to steal its home, even if that leaves the other crab naked, exposed, and about to get eaten. You will evict your own neighbor and condemn them to death for a slightly better house. And they'll do the exact same thing to you the second they get the chance. There's no honor in it, no rules, no mercy. A shell is the line between living and dying, so you'll do whatever it takes. You'll wrestle, yank, and pry at a rival for as long as it takes to drag them out. And if they end up naked and eaten because of it, well, that's not your problem. That's just another day in the shell wars. It's so competitive that your kind even does something weirdly organized about it. When a new big shell shows up, a whole bunch of you will gather around it and literally line up by size, smallest to biggest. The biggest crab takes the new shell, then the next one down grabs the house it just abandoned. Then the next one grabs that one, all the way down the line. A perfect chain of hand-me-down homes. It looks almost polite, but make no mistake, it's all driven by the same desperate truth. Without a shell, you are dead, and there are never enough to go around. And even when you do land a new one, you can't just grab the first shell you see, you check it, feel it, climb in and out, testing the weight and the fit, because a shell that's too big slows you down, and one that's too small leaves you hanging out. You're picky out of pure survival, a house hunter who literally cannot afford to get it wrong. And on top of all that, there are the moments when you have absolutely no protection at all. To grow, you have to molt, shedding your old outer skin to make a bigger body. And while you're molting, you're soft, weak, and basically helpless. You usually have to bury yourself and hide to survive it, lying there for days as soft as jelly, unable to run and unable to fight, just hoping nothing digs you up before your new body hardens. Same goes for the terrifying instant when you switch shells. For one awful exposed moment, you have to pull your soft tail out of your old home and rush it into the new one, completely naked and vulnerable. If a predator catches you in that split second, it's all over. Every upgrade, every molt is a gamble with your soft, unarmored life on the line. But let's say you survive all of it. The ocean, the predators, the endless moves, the shell wars. Some of your kind even live on land, crawling across tropical beaches, and can survive for decades if they're lucky. Surely now, after all that, you've earned a little peace. Nope, because here come the humans. Those land-living hermit crabs get scooped up out of the wild by the millions to be sold as cheap pets. And there's a cruel twist. Your kind is extremely hard to breed in captivity, so almost every hermit crab in a pet store was simply taken from the wild, ripped right out of its natural home and its shell wars, and dropped into a tiny plastic box. Whole stretches of beach get picked clean to feed the demand, with little thought for the wild populations left behind. And then it gets worse. To make you look cute, sellers often stick you in shells that have been painted in bright, fun colors. Shells coated in paint that can be toxic to you. The very armor your life depends on, turned into something that can poison you. Most of these crabs are then kept by people who have no idea how to care for them, crammed into dry, bare little tanks with no room to grow and no proper shells to upgrade into. And so, a creature that can live for 30 years or more in the wild, that fought its whole life just to keep a roof over its soft little body, ends up dying young in a plastic cage, all so it could be a colorful decoration for a few weeks. So let's go all the way back to the start. You were born half finished, with a soft, defenseless body that can't survive on its own. And here's what that gets you. You begin as one speck among millions, most of you eaten before you grow up. The moment you survive, you discover your own body is a liability, forcing you to spend your entire life scavenging the empty shells of dead animals just to stay alive. You never get a real home, only an endless series of borrowed ones, and you have to fight, steal, and evict your own neighbors to keep upgrading. Every molt and every move leaves you naked and one bite from death. And if you make it through all of that, you might just get plucked from the wild, glued into a poisoned painted shell, and left to die in a box for someone's amusement. That's what it means to be born a hermit crab. Your whole existence is a desperate housing crisis with no end, fought with a body that was never finished, in a world that never built you a home of your own. Be glad you weren't born as one.